हेलो।
हेलो।
जी भैया, एक कल हम लोग को नगर निगम की गाड़ी चाहिए होगी। एक घोड़ा का केस है।
अच्छा।
घोड़े का टांग में चोट लगी हुई है। उसने किसी और घोड़े को ज़ख्म किया था। उस ज़ख्म में दोनों चोट खा गए हैं।
हाँ।
दूसरा घोड़ा तो घायल काफ़ी होके ख़त्म हो गया था। ये वहीं पर पड़ा हुआ है, 4 दिन हो गए हैं पड़ा हुआ। तो अब ज़्यादा देर हम लोग कर नहीं सकते क्योंकि घोड़े वाला केस है। तो आप कृपया जल्दी से जल्द कल टाइम पे वहाँ पर
ठीक है, लेकिन गाड़ी गाड़ी मिलना थोड़ा मुश्किल है।
हाँ भैया, स्पेशल परमिशन लेना ही पड़ेगा हमको फिर डॉक्टर राव से, क्योंकि कोई और गाड़ी अवेलेबल है नहीं। नगर निगम गवर्नमेंट व्हीकल है,
जी।
तो आपका सहयोग चाहिए होगा उसके लिए।
चलिए ठीक है, बहुत
आगे थल्ले मान लो।
इसको जो है इधर, क्योंकि हम लोग क्या करेंगे, रस्सी नीचे से नीचे कर देंगे। कहीं झटका खा गया।
अरे कोई नहीं झटका खाएगा। ए थल्ले मारो, सामने वाले थल्ले मारो। हाँ थल्ले मारो भाई, हम निकालो निकालो, कुछ नहीं बोलो, निकालो निकालो निकालो, आराम से निकालो, कुछ नहीं बोलो।
हाँ, चाहो तो वो वाला रोड ले लो, वो जल्दी पड़ेगा।
वो जल्दी पड़ेगा।
हनीमैन होते हुए
जी जी।
सारा अस्पताल के सामने। अरे आप लोग की गाय वाय आती हैं, डॉक्टर राव भेजते रहते हैं ना। हम आप पे आगे आगे चलते रहेंगे।
ओके ओके। हाँ आप करते रहिएगा, क्योंकि हम वहाँ गए नहीं हैं, वहाँ पहली बार चल रहे हैं।
अच्छा अच्छा। हाँ, वो दूसरा वो क्या इरशाद खैर जाता है।
हिसाब रहता है।
इरशाद। We got news that there was this horse lying in a big field, and it was lockdown, the peak of lockdown that time. And when we went there, I found this stallion lying over there, and his legs were all with a lot of wounds. He had barbed wiring which was slightly stuck on it, and he was completely in no way that he could stand after that. So that's when I spotted him for the first time, and then I planned of taking him into the unit, and we brought Colvin to the farm and started his treatment from there. तुम या तुम दोनों में से देखो कौन हैंडल कर रहा है, ताकि इसके साथ एक जने वाकिफ हो। ठीक है? तो क्या होता है, घोड़ा जो है वो तुम्हारा जैसे तुम अंदर आओगे तुमको सूंघ के वो रिलैक्स हो जाता है। ऐसा ना हो कि आज तुम आ रहे हो फिर तुम बोल रहे हो कल मेरी बारी नहीं थी, परसों तुम्हारी है, मैं आज बात नहीं कर रहा और मैं आज रो रहा हूँ, और ये सब नहीं। एक आदमी लगो इसके साथ। कि अगर तुम लग रहे हो तो तुम लगो। ठीक है? ऐसा सेवा करो, ठीक अच्छा घोड़ा निकल जाए। ब्रश व्रश करो, ये सब जितना भी कचरा कूड़ा है सब उतार दो। ठीक है, ओके ओके। सिप्लाडीन लोशन, सिप्लाडीन क्रीम। आई थिंक सो इंजेक्शन भी बेटर, क्योंकि अभी नया घोड़ा है, शायद दांत ना खोलने दिखने दे, तो इंजेक्शन बेटर रहेगा। तो मेलोनेक्स तो देना ही पड़ेगा पेन के लिए, क्योंकि गाड़ी से आया है ना, तो ब्लीडिंग बहुत बम्पर हो रही है अभी। In the beginning, when he came to us, he has got another owner. He was a very worried horse. He didn't trust humans because with the history he had before that, and so in the beginning he used to chase us and wanting to bite. He never wanted anyone to clean his enclosures. Uh, but gradually he started getting used to us cleaning him up, taking him for walks, brushing him, doing his dressing, and with time everything heals. So his wounds healed along with his temperament, and now he is a very disciplined horse. But yes, his mood swings do come on, and when he wants to show off, he does chase and want someone to be always under him. उसमें से सामान देखो, निकालो, सिरिंजेस 5 डाल दो उसमें, ठीक है? हाँ, you can see the world nicely. Syro Farm is a pet sanctuary. It's home to a number of pets which are mostly rescued, injured, abused, and abandoned. And this idea of opening up a pet sanctuary was, it just one day came to me when I was overflooding with animals in my house, and it just happened that I had this piece of land, and we started off with very few animals at the Syro Pet Sanctuary, and from there, that's 12 years ago, until now we have a strength of over 150 animals over there. Large animals, more, lot of them, and even monkeys that we get injured, abandoned by their groups, and most of them electrocuted. So that is how Syro Farm comes along. It's even home to a lot of local wildlife, because we've maintained our green belt, which is, I think, so very rich in that area where I'm got the sanctuary, where a lot of wildlife have adopted us, and they've come and they're living on the state. So that's how Syro Farm started, and right now that's what it is all about.
हाँ कंध पर चढ़ जाओ ना आप
We had all gone to Bangalore for my brother's wedding. He must have been round about 5 again, and we were so excited shopping, and he was going to be the page boy, and so we went out to buy his clothes. Suddenly, as we were all walking in the street and enjoying the beautiful weather of Bangalore, I turned around and I saw that Cyrus was nowhere in sight. And we panicked because it was a new place to us and the language was different. And we kept on calling out, and he was sitting in a corner, and there was a crow that had just fallen from the tree and it died. So he was trying to press the chest of the crow to, wake up. And I kept saying, Cyrus, it's dead. And he kept with tears rolling down. Mom, it's not dead. It just fell from the tree. So I said, yes, it's got hurt and it fell from the tree and it's dead. So come on, let's move on. Leave the crow in the side. But he refused. I had to call my sisters back. We had a little funeral for the crow. I dug the hole, and he went and picked up some flowers from the bushes at the side. We buried it, and he put the flowers on the thing, and we all started walking, and we went back to our laughter and all that. But he was sulking and didn't want to shop anymore because he had just buried a crow. So his love for animals at that age, at that tender age, really scared me sometimes. And now if any animal does die, he does cry, just tears roll down his eyes, but he doesn't act mad or insane that these animals, why are they dying. He just says they're dead, but they are flying in heaven. That's all he tells me all the time. So these are little incidents that there's so much that I can talk about Cyrus, but this first thing was about this crow. But he feels that nothing should just be thrown. It should be buried. If they die, it should be buried.
I never even in my dreams thought that I'm going to open a farm, because I always, when I used to think of it, I used to always say that no parent or my mother wouldn't like me to be sitting looking after animals. I mean, it's a hobby and you can keep it as a hobby, but I mean, in a world where is developing and technology is around you, they want you to be in a different scale and in a different field altogether. So I never ever thought while sitting in a biology lab or in my classroom that I'll be opening up a farm which is known worldwide today. And so I never ever thought of that. I always had dreams. I always wanted to have another kind of a job or something, like in school I was in the naval wing, so I always wanted to join the navy. But again, I was like a rolling stone. If I saw a movie and in the movie one was a gladiator, the next thing I knew I wanted to be a gladiator. Even at an age of a kid being in class 12, I still wanted to be, okay, I won't be a navy officer, I'll be an army officer. I started doing events, handling events, anchoring shows, because I could speak, I knew the language well. But at the end of the day, I still didn't find happiness in whatever I was doing. And then slowly and steadily, I think so, every day I used to be remembered for the work I am built for. And that's when, after class 12, I opened up this farm, and then from the farm it became a sanctuary, and from the sanctuary it became my job. And today it's a job that I am doing throughout the year. That's how I think so it happened that I came into this life. To run a farm, you have to be very dedicated. A farm is something that never shuts down. An ex-Navy friend, he told me, he's quite elderly to me, but he told me, there are two things that never shut down. One is a farm and one is the engine of the ship. Work never stops. There's always someone greasing the bolts or the nuts, and the same thing happens in the farm. If you think you're going to invest it and you're going to leave it and for another 10 years you don't have to do anything, it's completely wrong, because you have to be going there every day. We are polishing stuff, every day we are greasing, every day we are feeding, every day we have to clean twice, we have to feed twice, we have to get medical checkups, we have to hear problems of the staff, we have to hear problems of the animals, and it goes on and on. We have to keep the greenery maintained. Any sort of weather comes, you have to be prepared for that. And especially in India, where you get staff who are who are kind of uneducated, so you have to educate them all the time. You can, in the morning you may tell them that what to do, but in the evening again you have to brush it up with them. So this is one thing, when you're running a farm, you have to be all the time over there. You have to be prepared for good news and bad news all the time. And you have to be, it can be animals falling sick, it can be crops getting spoiled. I mean, you just have to be always positive and ready for the worst and ready for the best. So that is what I think so farming is all about. It's not as they say, Jai Jawan, Jai Kisan. So I think so that word Jai Jawan, Jai Kisan is suitable for the work a farmer does. The main thing at our place is that I understand my animals. I know behavior in and out. I mean, it's at the tip of my fingers. I know every animal. I mean, if tomorrow even if you give me an elephant or you give me an ant, I still know how to approach them. What I always feel is that at our unit, we don't like to overcrowd animals. If I can't handle a case, I'll not take a case in. I'll rather give it into another person. What keeps us apart from other NGOs is that at our place I do not allow people to walk in when they want, boss my staff around, boss me around, because they have picked up this field max to max 5 years, 10 years from now. I have been in this field since I think so, it's been like I think so in my blood. So when there is one boss to the whole unit, so what I always tell people that why other shelters are not doing good is because they are into partnerships with other lot of people. Everyone's minds don't work together, and it is that they want to take in cases which they are not experienced in. If someone is good with dogs, they should only take in dogs. If someone's good with monkeys, let that person only handle monkeys. Don't send dogs to him. So at our place, since I am experienced with all animals, I have made place for all of them. I've given them a very natural setup, because I always feel that once the animal comes to me and after being with me for even a week, they get used to our lifestyle. They get used to a very comfortable lifestyle, which even is we provide them with the wildness that they actually like. As I say, the administration is what keeps us different from other NGOs or other centers, is that there's one governing body over there, and that one governing body is the only rule. No one can come in and say that, oh no, the horse should be not kept like this and please keep it like that, or the dogs should be open. You can, within our sanctuary, we have animals that are running around, we have rabbits that are open, hens that are open. So everything is very systematically taken care of. Everyone has their freedom and their time to be in their enclosures. So I think so that is what we guys are all about.
First wear the leash. First wear the leash. Okay. First wear. चलो. We go walking.
We in the COVID-19 phase, we got derailed very badly. Derailed in the sense of budget, staff, medicines, fodder, where we were to scavenge at times. Not that our animals starved to death, but the thing is that the animals had to be, certain animals had to be put onto a low budget feeding, where we were feeding them around 2 kgs per animal. We had to bring the number slightly down to feed them one extra day. So the COVID-19 phase, it just didn't affect our lifestyle, but it did affect the complete unit. Because when you have money in your unit, you can use it for all sorts of funding. But when we got derailed, that is when we had to also slow down rescues. We had to divide our rescues among other centers, which everyone rejected. They could not do it. There were people who were just dumping animals and not wanting to take on responsibilities. And when you run a unit for rescue, be it an animal or a human, the person who rescues the animal has to take on responsibility. It's not just that you dumped it or you rescued it and handed it over and that's the end of it, especially when it's a private run center. So we were over flooded with a lot of horses and ponies, which people just would come and drop it off and go. We got a lot of dog cases. Our number went up to 46 and 47 dogs, which we shouldn't be having so many. And so now what we did was, once we found out the lockdown is opening, we started putting these animals up for adoption. Many of the horses and ponies that we found were slightly on the wilder side and were wanting to be opened. We opened them up to graze, and the ones who were weak were not allowed to go out. They are still kept at the stable. The dogs got adopted, so our count went down. It becomes a burden when you rescue it and they get fined. The animal doesn't go back and it becomes a permanent animal that stays on the farm and cannot move back. They take on a duty, they have to finish it. We had scenes where they were leaving the animal here and taking funding on a personal scale on another platform, and they were just washing their hands off their cases. So and it does make me sad also that I have to close gates, but it's much needed, because if you leave the gate open, you're not only inviting in a lot of people with all sorts of cases, but with a lot of diseases inside. So that is something which has disappointed me, that I have to say a no after such a long span of working in this line.